Hello, my name is Curtis Greshel. I work at Super Sky Products, and we've been working on renovation of Washington, D.C. metro stations. This one is in front of you here. We're just finishing. It's in Virginia. And but before we can get to this stage, we need to field measure some existing concrete so that we know what size to fabricate all the glass and aluminum before we ship it out to the site. And that's what I'm sending this information to you to find out if there's a better way to field measure these concrete structures. In particular, it's one at Addison Road subway station, which is very similar in shape to this one. It's hard to tell from this picture just what's going on underneath this work platform, but we do have some tools available to us to give you a preliminary introduction. And one of those is from Google. Google Maps has made it so that we can actually virtually walk through the subway station and look at what we need to measure. And what we'd like to find out is the top of this curb, its elevation and how long it is. The skylight in question here is almost 500 feet long. Let's actually go in the station and you'll see more of what's there. So in the past we've tried to measure beam to beam and across, which has its drawbacks in that we're adding too many dimensions to too many irregular things, surfaces. We would like to find a way to measure near this corner and maybe get a measurement here, here, and down the length of the skylight, including these sorry, pardon me, we got to take an elevator ride. This is at the bottom of an incline, and you can see looking back that the skylight comes along and then it comes down a hill, and this was a particularly difficult spot to measure. On this station there's not as many beams going across, so the edge is more accessible. And I'm not sure how we can get to measure to get the actual slope of the beam plus where it turns to go into the next part. And we'll kind of shoot over here a little bit and you get a better idea. You're coming along in a low roof. This line is probably not level. I believe it has 0.35% slope, but we're not sure if they really poured it that way or if it's just on a drawing from the 70s. Then this goes up. It could be 25, 30, 35. It's hard to tell. And then you got a higher one with another sloping line up there. And we're not sure the best way to do it, if there's a way to put some kind of base station and measure to the top of the curb, or if it would be better to put a target here and here and here and kind of keep those all at a level, and then we could maybe snap a chalk line and get intermittent checks in between. But you can see it goes on for about 300 feet. Google Earth doesn't go all the way down there, but the station is that long, and we need to know the width, which we can check with the tape. It's the length and the pitch of these lines, and are they at the same elevation, this one compared to that one. The one that I showed you the pictures of in the beginning, the curves were not regular, so it was difficult to get a handle on what we were dealing with. So let me look at something else here that might help a bit. This is a CAD model, just to kind of simplify it. And so what we're looking to find out is what would be a reference plane here, and how much does the curve vary from that reference plane, and then what's a reference plane going down off these incline curbs, and then you get another flat one going here. So we sort of want to define these three planes, 1, 2, 3, which are on the curb, on the concrete beam that we have to attach the skylight to. With that, then we can fabricate and when it's time to deliver this in February, we can bring the skylight and have it fit. It all has to be pre-made, pre-cut, ready to go. We're looking for a bid to kind of get us a budget number so we know, and then work out the details if we're awarded the work. The field measuring, I believe, would be in October. It would happen on weekends, probably a Saturday or a Sunday. I'm sure it would take a full day. I do not believe it would be possible for the survey crew to be on the roof, but hopefully we can get you into the station with your equipment. That has to be worked out as well. There's a lot of rules for badging and such, but I think we can get it so you're inside the station, which goes back to here. And I'll send you a link so you can find the Google Street thing and kind of walk through it at your leisure. But it is pretty handy to get an idea of what you're looking at. So here, I'm also going to include some drawings. These drawings are from the station. They're probably from sometime in the 1970s. You can see the skylight here. You can get an idea of its matched line together, and that will help you get some feel for what the building is. Let me zoom in here. It's not a very big opening. It's only 8 feet across, inside to inside. And then there's a little bump that we're on, a little 6-inch tall, or wide, 3-inch tall curb that the skylight attaches to. And so what we're looking to do is kind of track that inside corner. Let me see if I can find the other. There's one last page. Bear with me for a second. And that's the curb. Theoretically, that's the curb. So it's here. Typically the past stations have had a little 1-inch chamfer, not this rounded edge, which makes it a little bit trickier how to measure. But this is the corner we're trying to, or this surface is what we're trying to define so that we can figure out, our width. If we get the inside, we'll assume the 6. That gives us the width of the skylight. That said, let's look at some pictures of what we found on some of the other stations. So this is the one we're just completing, and you can see here's the incline, and then there's something between the skylight and the inclined concrete. And we found that sometimes it was 2.5 or 3 going to 1/2, and it's all topping. And if this would happen again, we're not sure, do we want to measure to the concrete beam, to the topping, which we really can't use, it has to be removed, or to the top of this aluminum plate that's for the existing skylight. It gets kind of complicated. Here we get a step in it of about 1.5 inches, and a little notch cut out. So expect there to be some kind of annoying variation to make it difficult. There's our notch again. On the high roof, on the one we just did, it all of a sudden was just 3 inches thick all the way across. This is actually the corner we would be looking to field measure. I don't know what to do if this happens again. That would be something we'd want to talk about. What's an intelligent way to define the surface we have to do for the skylight? If you actually look at this picture, you can see it gets a little wave in it down here. They had good reason for topping it off and leveling it. They used some pretty questionable things to do it. So here's your structural concrete. Here's filler material and aluminum. So again, we're just trying to define this theoretical line of that structural concrete beam, because that's the guy we got to anchor to. Here's the lower roof. It wasn't as tall as the other one, but it had different types of material, all of which basically broke off as soon as they took the old skylight out. And then here's our incline again. And I never noticed it kind of sagged pretty bad. This is not ours. And then here's our big switch when we got the top of the incline. When you would look at the opposite hand corner for this, it didn't have this 3-inch jump. That's why we're worried that the left-hand curb might be 3 inches lower than the right-hand curb. And that's something we need to know about before we make the skylight, because that probably will indicate they have to do some remedial work to the concrete to make it ready to hold the new skylight. Kind of give you an overview of the station from the air. And you can see there's the skylight. It's not the greatest image, but it is sizable. It'll take quite a while to get to track this line and see how it aligns with the lower one and the incline, and check the level going across. We'd like to talk to you, see what's a feasible plan, what a good budget number would be. This station happens in February. We're also looking at three others that would happen in May. So if this plan works, there will be other skylights we have to budget for. But I thought if I would throw it all in at once, it gets a little bit too much to take in. So this is a big one, and it's pretty challenging. The other ones I think would actually be easier than this one because they won't have the incline. They're more of a straight shot. But this guy is the one we're going to need to do, and it's one we struggled with this year, so we want to make sure we get it right. Please look everything over and give me a call. My phone number will be on the email, and I'd like to see if there's a way we can bring some high-tech stuff in rather than running around with plumb bobs, levels, and tape measures. So, thank you very much.